All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live here at the Houston Zoo with our Capybara Chaos. My name is Kim. I'm one of our keepers here taking care of these guys. And we'll introduce you to our ginormous capybara family. So we have two litters that were both born this year. Two of the ones close up by me were born in March. So they're about 6 months old. And then we've got four tiny ones a bit further back that were born in October 17th. And the one back behind me is their mom, Poppy. So Poppy is a fairly young mom. She's, I believe, 5 years old and has had two litters this year, which is not uncommon for capybaras. They are the world's largest rodent species. So while Mom Poppy and Dad Rio weigh close to about 100 pounds, these three up here are Biscuit, Strudel, and Bagel, and they're between 70 and 80 pounds, and they are all about 6 months old. And they were the first litter born to Poppy and Rio this year. They've got nice, super long teeth that are constantly growing. So you can see I've got some nice long pieces of produce here to make sure that they eat the food and not nibble my fingers. And when it gets too low, I drop the food. And they will find it on their own. They also have four younger siblings that were born in October. We'll see if I can get them to maneuver around me a little bit so you can actually see those little potatoes. Those four youngsters are named after potatoes. They are 3 boys and 1 girl. The girl's name is Tater Tot, and the 3 boys are Russet, Spud, and Chip Ali. And they are all positioned in a way that I can't tell who's who at the moment, because they can be really hard to tell apart, because they do look very, very, very similar. So capybara are native to Central and South America. Here at the zoo, they can be found in our new Pantanal area. Right now, they live in this smaller exhibit space. But once those the potatoes get a bit bigger, they will be going into our big yard living with our tapers and our anteaters. Right now, while they do look small, they do have a lot of fluff to them. And we want to make sure that they're not going to be too small to fit through the mesh around the exhibit, because we don't need free-range cappies. No, we don't. You guys have to stay safe. So right now, they're getting some of their favorite food, some of their produce items. So they've got carrots today, some grapes, some cucumbers, and corn. And this little piece. Oh, what a good girl. What a good girl. Oh, no scratches today? All right. Do you want scratches? Yeah, you want scratches? So they oftentimes do like some scratches. The older ones enjoy them quite a bit. As far as the 4 potatoes go, I've only been able to touch one of the potatoes so far. And that was Mr. Chip Ali. He is our only capybara with an official last name because he was named after one of our conservation partners. Back in October, right around when the potato pups were born, he happened to be in town for some other reason, so he got to help us out doing their neonatal exam, their first exam as babies, to make sure they're nice and healthy. So he got to hold one, so we named one after him with his last name of Ali. But otherwise, the 4 that were born in October have a theme name of potatoes, while the 3 that were born in March have the theme name of pastries, and Bagel, Strudel, and Biscuit. And because they're all moving all over the place, I've lost track of who's who. But Mom Poppy's over back further away, and Dad Rio's a bit by the pool. But they're all kind of eating some of the treats. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to type them on in. I'm happy to answer that. So capybaras are amazing swimmers. I'm not sure if we can zoom in and see how their feet do have webbing between their toes. They start swimming at very, very young ages. In fact, our pups start to be in the water within days of being born. We give them access to the pool, and they can swim right away. They like to dive in the water, especially on warm days. Today's a little bit chilly for them to probably spend too much time in the pool, but they might later in the day if the sun comes out. They do spend a lot of their time inside water, so as you look across their head, you'll see that their eyes, their nose, and their ear are all kind of on the top of their head. So when they're submerged into water, they don't have to have a lot of their body up above the water. And that helps them stay a bit safe from some predators. Or you're just helping yourself here, are you, Missy? That's really not called for. I can throw you some more food. I'm going to scatter some grapes. I can pull the grapes off. I know. You do not get to help yourself. No, ma'am. Hey! That's cheating. That's cheating. She just stole a piece of banana out of the box. What a cheater. Do you want some banana? There's a good capybara. I did not cut that well to keep my finger safe. Here, go get some corn. So yes, with a group of 9 of them, it can be very hard to tell who's who, and they do grow pretty gosh darn quickly. So like I mentioned, these 3 that are kind of right around me right now were born just in March, so they are just over 6 months old. And then the 4 youngsters off to the side there were born in October, so they are almost 2 months old. Their birthdays are March 16th and October 17th, so they're almost exactly 5 months apart. Hi, Poppy. And here's Mom coming up behind us eating some cucumber from me, and Dad's over by the youngsters. Dad's name is Rio. And so this is our family group of 9 capybaras. We do have 3 other capybaras that were born last year. Those are Bruno, Julieta, and Peppa, that were named after the characters from the movie Encanto. They are a separate group. Excuse you. No, ma'am. You don't get to eat the bin. I know it smells like produce, so it's super yummy smelling. But you don't get to eat the bin. Those are some good chomps. Yeah, those are very good chomps, Strudel. Let's see if we can show off their nice big teeth, maybe. I'm not sure if they can actually zoom in on those teeth with how they're eating right now. But their teeth are constantly growing because they are a rodent species. So their teeth are always growing throughout their lifetime, so it's really good for them to eat nice big chunks like this so they can kind of chomp through and wear those teeth down on stuff. Yeah, you don't need to be right in the bin. You don't get to help yourself. Go get that one. What do you think, little baby? Do you want some? You're like, I'm too busy eating the stuff on the floor to realize that there's a person there offering me more. What do you think, little potato? So you can really see the size difference in them with them being right up close like this. Our potatoes currently weigh between about 12 and 15 pounds, whereas the pastry group are currently between about 70 and 80 pounds, and Mom and Dad are just about 100 pounds. So they do grow very, very quickly before they reach their full-grown size. Isn't that right, Miss Tater Tot? I'm pretty sure this is Tater Tot right in the middle here, between her 2 siblings. But they are super cute. No, there's too many of you to keep track of. You want scratches? You want scratches too? So they are all in training programs. Right now they've all been trained to step onto a scale for the most part. One of the potatoes still hasn't quite mastered that one yet, but we've gotten weights on all of them pretty recently. And then they are all being trained to allow us to do tactiles, kind of giving them scratches all over their bodies, and as well as bring a microchip reader to read the microchips, because they do all have microchips in them that we put in them because, as you can tell, excuse you, miss. Thank you. They all do look very, very similar. So it's really hard to keep track of who's who. So they are all microchips, so we can know for sure who's who. So we got to get them used to having us use a little transponder reader to come read and make sure if any of them ever get sick that we know exactly which one isn't feeling well and what we can do to make them feel better. Other behaviors they will learn. So Poppy, their mom, has been trained for abdominal ultrasounds to monitor pregnancies. And right now they are living in a family group, and we do not have plans to breed any of the youngsters. But if that changes in the future, we will train those females for ultrasounds as well. But right now the plan is to keep them as one giant, big, happy family. They're going after all of the snacks. In addition to the produce items, they also get fed alfalfa and coastal hay. And they also get 3 different types of biscuits or kibbles, essentially. They get a banana biscuit, a leaf eater biscuit, and then what's rodent block, because they are rodents, so they get fed rodent block. I did not cut some of this big enough where I can feed you guys safely. No, ma'am. You don't get to climb in the bin. You don't get to climb in the bin. I'm sorry. I know you think you should get to. Hello, Poppy. Want a banana? Good girl. Want the cucumber? Yummy cucumbers. Strudel, you don't get to help yourself. How can we help save them in the wild? That's a fantastic question. So right now, capybaras are suffering from habitat loss, a lot of which is due to land being taken by forestry. So being aware of where all of your paper and wood products are coming from, making sure you're having sustainable sources for that, so that they don't need to cut down the forests and the trees down in Central and South America. As well as by visiting the zoo. Every time you visit the zoo, some of your admission dollars goes to help support our conservation partners worldwide. And we've got quite a few down in Central and South America that are doing some pretty cool work for the tapers, the anteaters, capybaras. We've got some partners doing some cool stuff with the birds that I don't know a lot about because I don't take care of the birds very much. I know we've got partners on there doing some cool work with them. Look at those. We got 3 out of 4 cute potatoes there right now. How big do they get? So as adults, they typically are about 100 pounds. So we do have 2 adults in our family group right now. The one on the back right-hand side and the one directly behind me are the two adults of this group that are about 100 pounds. But our 3, you're okay, Poppy. But the 3 juveniles that are right here in the middle right now, even though they're only 6 months old, are already pretty close to being full-grown adult size. They're between 70 and 80 pounds right now. So with the 100 being the normal adult size, they're not too far off from being as big as mom and dad at the moment. And then our 3 younger litter that are about 2 months old still have quite a bit of growing left to do, but they will grow very quickly. At birth, they were between about 4 and 5 pounds, and they currently, at 2 months old, are between 12 and 15 pounds. And then at 6 months old, are between 70 and 80 pounds. They do grow very, very fast. Their lifespan can be in their mid-teens, so they can be not superly long-lived, but have a decent lifespan for their size. And then litters can be anywhere from 1 to 6 capybaras at a time. So when moms have babies, they typically have fairly large litters. Right now, our biggest litter that we've got out here is the litter of 4 potatoes back behind me. And their gestation period's only about 4.5 months long. So they do have babies pretty quickly. They're not pregnant for very long, and they grow pretty quick, both in utero and then once they're been born, they grow fast. So they do start to eat solid foods pretty much the day after they're born. They will still nurse off a mom. In fact, those 4 potatoes are still nursing from Poppy, but they, as you saw, are eating plenty of solid foods as well. Hi, I've only got carrots, Poppy. Are you going to take a carrot? Thank you. That was a very delicate carrot. Okay, you guys don't get to climb in the bin again. Excuse you. No, ma'am. I said no. You've been very messy eaters. You'll have to do a lot of cleaning up later. They will eventually come back and clean up all the stuff that they are dropping in the sand. It's just more fun to eat it if somebody's holding it for you. Isn't that right, Bagel? Yeah, you don't get to help yourself in the bin. So thanks for tuning in to our last Facebook Live of 2023. Join us again in January when our series returns in 2024.